Hi, and welcome to the Screen Safe podcast. I'm Anna, and this is a podcast for anyone who cares about keeping children and teens safer online. We're going to talk about absolutely everything, so whatever age and stage your child is at, there'll be something here for you. Let's get going. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode. Just a short one this week because it was something that just cropped up and came across my radar from someone that I'd been speaking to that had had direct experience with this. And I just thought I needed to do a really short, brief podcast, just again to try and reach as many parents as possible, particularly over this school holiday time, where we know children are on screens longer at some point throughout the holidays. We know screen time rises. And this is to do with AI. Now, AI we know is a huge thing that's happening at the moment. It's exploding everywhere. It's in our lives. It's been in our lives for a while, but it's really sort of come to the forefront with, the launch of Chat GPT and seeing how quickly that's taking over. And there's a lot of people watching. There's a lot of speculation. There's lots of positive things that seem to be coming out of it. And always there's lots of negatives as well. So it's certainly not to say here that this is a complete downer on all things AI. I think there are some wonderful things that will be happening, and who knows what the future holds. But we know that where any tech is concerned and children have access, there are going to be risks. And that's going to be either by children using it themselves, not in the right way, or getting access to things that they shouldn't have access to, or people using AI to harm children in some way. We've already seen reports in the news this week about child sexual abuse images being created by AI. So that goes to one extreme of showing how dangerous and disgusting this potentially can be if, that is already happening now. So there are images online that are generated by AI of child sexual abuse. And it can be really hard to just get your head around these things of, again, it sort of brings to the forefront the lowest of society and sort of really makes you question the human race when you hear about things like this. But of course, there are loads of amazing people doing wonderful things out there all the time. And I can find it really hard sometimes because I focus, and a lot of my work is centered on obviously understanding the risks. And with that, I see and hear about the worst side of the internet. And it's finding that balance in communicating these things to parents and children in a way that isn't all doom and gloom, but absolutely in a way that we need to open our eyes and realize what is happening so we can keep our children safer. Now, the particular topic I just wanted to talk and bring your attention to today was something that I hadn't been aware of. But on the App Store now, there are a number of apps where you can actually create your AI boyfriend or girlfriend. And it's just one of those where you think at first this can't be real, surely. But sure enough, I went on to the App Store on my phone, and there's not one. It comes up with 20, 30 straight away. All I put in the search was AI boyfriend, and straight away the first one that I click on, um, it gives a description of iBoy is a super easy way to fall in love with your AI boyfriend. Want to know how far you can go with your virtual boyfriend? AI boyfriend is your perfect soulmate. Meet a new you in iBoy. Reduce stress and live happier, apparently. Chatting with a virtual boyfriend only takes a few minutes a day and can help you start to feel better. A boyfriend you can trust. Feel free to share your secrets, wishes, dreams, and fears with complete anonymity. It's an artificial intelligence with genuine emotional intelligence. Be who you are. The more you chat, the more your virtual boyfriend learns about you. And it goes on and on and on. Get help from your AI boyfriend. Your virtual boyfriend is here to help you as well. If you're feeling down or anxious, your iBoy will be your friend. Get closer. Change our relationship status and even get more than just a friendship. You can start an affair with your AI lover. I mean, wow. Okay, so that kind of blew my mind a bit because it wasn't something that had come across my radar. It's well and truly on there now. And yes, that app is a 17 plus, but as we know, that really doesn't mean a great deal. Children are accessing all sorts of apps. All social media is meant to be 13 minimum, and we know there's 7, 8, 9 year olds all over social media. And this is worrying in so many ways because, yes, of course, people might just see it as a bit of fun. But if you've not listened to my earlier podcast, which I did about the Snapchat AI bot that got introduced earlier this year, one of my main concerns with anything like this is that we're encouraging people to build relationships, share their secrets, and trust in a piece of technology. And it becomes a very blurred line, particularly when we're talking about children and young people who are not emotionally developed yet, that they start believing that this AI, whatever, chatbot, boyfriend, girlfriend, affair, lover, is real, that they are there for them, that they're their support, that they're their one true, trusting guide that will always be there for them. They're never, I can't imagine, I don't know, maybe you can have arguments with your AI boyfriend. You probably can because you can do everything else. But I would imagine it's much more of a this person is going to tell you what you want to hear every day. They're going to tell you you're amazing. They're going to tell you that they're in love with you and that you're the most beautiful, precious, special person. And that if you've had an argument with a friend, that of course you were right, or that you look wonderful in whatever you're wearing. And so it goes on and on. And it's a really dangerous place for our children. And personally, I think for adults as well, but particularly for children and young people and teens to be becoming reliant. And as we've seen with any form of tech, it's so addictive. And this will be no different because there will be young girls and boys out there, young men, young women, teens who are feeling vulnerable, who are emotionally feeling lonely. Maybe they've had a breakup. Maybe they're having, their first experience of relationships. I really hope that this doesn't become people's first experience of a relationship. But you can see that that will happen. Of course it will if it's there. And then we get that dependency. And again, it's all just built on fake, fake words, fake people, fake life. So our young teens, children, I keep saying children, but I'm really hoping children won't be on this, but we know they will be. They get and find out about everything, and the curiosity, the intrigue, the bit of a thrill, the flattery will all be too much to resist, and there will be children who very much go down this path and start having these relationships. Now, the instance that I heard about specifically was about a mother who had found explicit text messages on her daughter's phone. Her daughter was 13. And it was only when looking into these that she realized she was chatting with her AI boyfriend. And there were sexually explicit messages talking about having sex, sexual acts, um, and talking about the way they felt about each other and the things they wanted to do together. And she was 13 and she's having this conversation with her AI boyfriend. Now, there might be a side of you where, as a parent, you're slightly relieved that it's not a real life human that she can then actually meet up with and act out any of these conversations. But it is equally worrying that she's forming this idea of this is what a relationship is about, because it's never going to be a true example of real life, is it? You're not going to have that real experience of when you have a relationship with someone and you have the ups and the downs and the bits where you find out of what type of people that you want to be with, what drives you mad, what are your non-negotiables when you have disagreements or arguments or experiences together. It just blows my mind a bit, really. But I really wanted to highlight it just in this short episode today. As I say, it's very fresh. I'm just looking into it now myself, and I'm intend to dig in deeper as I do with all these things. And I will share a more in-depth podcast later, probably after the summer holidays now, when I've looked into this properly and seen what is actually happening and capable. But just that initial look that I've had is enough to send off so many different alarm bells that I just wanted to let you as parents, carers, teachers, just be aware that this is another option that is now being put in front of children and young people who have access to the App Store. And it's one to be having conversations with, again, about real life versus online life, talking about AI. I know it's a difficult one because a lot of us, myself included, are learning all this as we go. But just starting to have the conversations of, that you're learning as well. But what do we think about AI? What are the positives? What are the potential negatives? What are the risks? And using all these opportunities over the summer holidays to talk about things online not always being true, and what is a healthy relationship. And by that, I don't just mean a romantic sexual relationship. I mean their relationships with their friends. We need to try and keep them grounded in those real relationships with family, friends, whoever they spend their time with. Keep them grounded in that and how good that makes them feel, hopefully, if they're hanging around with the right people, so that they don't get pulled into this false world of AI and feel that that's where they go to get their real friendship, or that they go to get their validation. We want to help make sure they're getting that from a real source. So hopefully it hasn't caused too much alarm, but it's given you another sort of jolt to have a look at things. Have a look at your child's phone settings. Make sure they cannot be downloading things from the App Store without your permission. Make sure, if they're under 17, they can't be accessing these apps that are 17 plus. But as we know, parental controls are very, very much just a little plaster on a big wound. They only do so much, and most children know exactly how to get around them and remove them. So talking is key, as always. Keep talking. I'll keep learning, and I will be back to share more on this topic once I've looked into it further. Take care for now, and speak to you soon. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd be really grateful if you would share it with anyone else who you think might find this podcast helpful. You can follow me on Instagram at ScreenSafe Global, or sign up via my website screensafe.co.uk, or via the link in Instagram to receive my weekly newsletter with more hints, tips and all-round support on everything to do with online safety.